Imagine a region often labeled as one of the poorest, yet, brimming with incredible untapped potential. What if this very region could leapfrog decades of traditional development by boldly embracing radical ideas in land reform and cutting-edge digital innovation? Today, we're taking a deep dive into Bihar, India's most populous and historically significant state. Despite its rich human capital and famously fertile land, Bihar currently struggles with a low per capita income and significant socioeconomic challenges. But there's an ambitious vision brewing here, a bold, multi-pronged strategy to transform Bihar into a global economic hub.
It's quite something. Our sources for this deep dive lay out an incredibly detailed blueprint. We're looking at a concrete 5-year plan, a vision for inclusive land reform that fundamentally rethinks land ownership. Then there's granular exploration of suitable agro-based industries designed to leverage Bihar's natural strength. And this really audacious skip-the-landline digital strategy that proposes bypassing old infrastructure entirely.
Skipping the landline, just going straight for the future tech.
Exactly. And the proposals also include groundbreaking ideas for unlocking massive private sector job creation and attracting a staggering, almost unbelievable $1 trillion in investment. It's a vision that truly challenges traditional notions of development. Yeah.
It really does. So our mission today is to unpack this bold blueprint. We'll examine the current challenges Bihar faces, the proposed solutions, the global and Indian precedents that inspire these ideas, and crucially, what this all could mean for the future of Bihar and its 130 million people. So for you listening, what stands out most about starting a deep dive with a region like Bihar, which, let's face it, often carries certain preconceptions, but clearly has this kind of underlying ambition bubbling up?
Well, it's precisely that contrast, isn't it, between common perception and this extraordinary potential that makes Bihar such a compelling subject. When we look at the harsh realities, Bihar indeed stands out as India's poorest state. Its per capita income for 2023-24 is approximately $57,000. That translates to about $700 US.
$700. Just to put that in perspective for our global listeners, India's national average is around $2,400.
Right, so it's a huge gap. And this isn't just a numerical gap. It reflects the daily struggles and limited opportunities for millions.
And it's not just about income, right? The Human Development Index, the HDI, for Bihar is 0.596 as of 2021.
Yes, and that figure puts it in a similar bracket to sub-Saharan African countries like Kenya at 0.575 or Uganda at 0.525.
So we're talking about parallel challenges across the board.
Yeah.
Low income, struggling education systems, inadequate infrastructure. It's a stark picture, highlights deep-seated developmental deficits.
Absolutely. And the economic foundation of Bihar heavily relies on agriculture. It contributes about 22% of its gross state domestic product, or GSDP. But here's the thing. A staggering 80% of the population is engaged in farming, yet the sector suffers from consistently low productivity.
80% in farming, but low output. That explains a lot.
It does. This inefficiency, combined with the lack of local opportunities, leads to a persistent problem of high migration rates. People are often forced to leave their homes, their families, just to search for better livelihoods elsewhere. It's a constant drain. Unemployment hovers around 7%, and a critical statistic from the 2011 census highlights that only 61.8% of the population is literate.
61.8% literacy. That's low for modern India.
It is. And even more stark, only 3% of scheduled caste students complete Class 12. That indicates profound systemic issues in education access and retention, rooted in historical disadvantages.
That's a powerful point about the structural and historical challenges, and the sources suggest these issues aren't just about resource scarcity, are they? They seem deeply rooted in governance failures and a political landscape historically dominated by caste politics.
That's exactly right. For a long time, it seems, identity politics have been prioritized over genuine, broad-based development initiatives.
So focusing on who people are rather than what they need?
Precisely. And historically, pervasive concerns about corruption, bureaucratic red tape, and chronic issues with law and order, well, they've created an environment that actively discourages large-scale investments, both domestic and foreign. This has compounded the economic stagnation for decades.
Okay, so that's the legacy. But the vision for change we're examining aims to disrupt this long-standing caste-driven political landscape and strategically shift Bihar towards a class-based, development-oriented politics.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fundamental reorientation.
It is a fundamental reorientation of the state's priorities.
That's a really ambitious goal, essentially aiming for a societal reset. The ultimate objective, as outlined, is to transform the state into a global economic hub by 2030, targeting double-digit growth. We're talking about aiming for 15% growth by 2030, which is a significant jump from its current 10.6% in 2023-24.
A huge jump.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you might wonder, how does a state facing such deep-seated issues even begin to envision such a radical transformation? It feels like trying to move mountains.
It really does. And that brings us to the strategic framework proposed by Prashant Kishor, a renowned political strategist, and his new initiative, Jan Suraaj.
Okay, let's unpack this. Prashant Kishor, a name many might recognize from his work on various high-profile campaigns across India. He's now launched Jan Suraaj. And this initiative is geared specifically towards contesting the 2025 Bihar Assembly elections, not just as an advisor this time, but as a direct political force.
Correct. A significant shift for him.
And what's particularly striking about his approach is that he didn't just parachute in with a campaign. His political movement was preceded by a significant 3,000-kilometer padyatra, a long march, starting back in October 2022.
Which is a huge undertaking, 3,000 kilometers on foot.
Exactly. This isn't just a political stunt. It's a deeply rooted Indian tradition of walking among the people, understanding their everyday struggles directly, building trust village by village. It signals a commitment that goes far beyond a typical election rally, grounding his ambitious proposals in first-hand experience. It feels more like a genuine grassroots approach.
It absolutely does. That padyatra wasn't just symbolic. It was about connecting directly, listening to grievances, understanding challenges firsthand. His core promises and emphasis for Jan Suraaj are centered on robust governance, comprehensive education reform, widespread employment generation, and, crucially, ending the divisive caste-based politics that have plagued the state for decades. These are the foundational pillars he believes are essential for Bihar's transformation from within.
So let's dive into those key pillars. On education reform, Kishor has been quite vocal, hasn't he? Criticizing what he calls the complete collapse of Bihar's education system, talking about schools without teachers, crumbling infrastructure.
He paints a grim picture, and his proposed solution is quite audacious. He suggests using 20,000 crore, that's about 2.4 billion US dollars, which he estimates could be generated annually from ending the liquor ban in Bihar to fund education.
Ending the liquor ban to fund schools, that's controversial, but a huge potential funding source.
It is, and this aligns, interestingly, with Bihar's 2024-25 state budget, which already allocates 48,000 crore, about 5.8 billion US dollars for education. So the idea is to substantially increase and, crucially, ring-fence funds specifically for educational infrastructure, teacher recruitment, quality improvement, creating a dedicated financial pipeline.
That's a significant amount of money if it can be realized and actually protected for education.
Okay, and for employment. Another critical issue, given those high migration rates we mentioned, how does he propose keeping Bihar's talent within its borders?
For employment, he's advocating for training village youth for digital self-employment. The aim is for these trained individuals to earn $5,000, $10,000 monthly, roughly $1,620 US dollars.
Which might sound modest globally, but in rural Bihar.
It's significant.
Yeah.
And critically, it's designed to reduce outward migration by providing a viable local income stream. It's a recognition that traditional factory jobs alone might not be enough. Digital skills can empower individuals directly, allowing them to work from their villages. That makes sense. And we heard about land reforms earlier as a crucial element. What's the connection there to his overall vision for employment and economic stability?
Well, he has hinted at a broader land reform agenda specifically to boost agricultural productivity, even suggesting engaging MGNRGS workers, that's the Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, in more productive farming-related activities. So it indicates a recognition that land access, clear titles, improved agricultural productivity are foundational to rural employment and stability.
Right, it all connects back.
And his focus on anti-corruption is also clear and unwavering. Remember his fast unto death protests in January 2025 against irregularities in the BPSC, the Bihar Public Service Commission exams. That powerfully underscored his commitment to curbing corruption and ensuring transparency, especially in getting government jobs.
Okay, so it sounds holistic, connecting governance, education, employment. But I'm really curious about his specific economic formula for creating private sector jobs. He talks about something called the CD ratio. What is that, and why is it apparently so incredibly important for Bihar's economic future?
Right, the CD ratio. It stands for credit to deposit ratio, and it highlights a critical, often overlooked problem in Bihar's economy. The source states that banks in Bihar collected a massive 4.61 lakh crore, that's roughly 55 billion US dollars in deposits in 2023-24. Huge amount.
$55 billion in deposits. Okay.
But here's the kicker. They dispersed only 1.61 lakh crore, about 19 billion US dollars, in loans within the state.
Wait, so they took in 55 billion but only lent out 19 billion inside Bihar. Where did the rest go?
Exactly. This consistently low CD ratio essentially means that a huge chunk of capital generated by Bihari citizens and businesses is being siphoned off to other states, rather than being reinvested locally to stimulate Bihar's own economy.
So Bihar's own money isn't staying in Bihar to fund its own businesses or drive its own growth. That sounds like a massive leak in the system, preventing organic development.
It is a massive leak, and his solution is to compel banks, through policy and incentives, to increase local lending. By raising the CD ratio to 70%, he believes it could unlock a staggering euro 2.5 lakh crore, approximately 30 billion US dollars in loans, specifically for Bihar businesses.
$30 billion just by making banks lend locally more.
That's the potential unlock. This isn't just about attracting external investment. It's about activating existing dormant capital within the state. This massive capital injection would stimulate entrepreneurship, foster industrial growth by making capital accessible, and directly lead to significant private sector job creation. It's about retaining Bihar's wealth locally. Think of it like a household earning a good salary, but instead of investing it back home, sending most of it to the neighbors.
Right. The CD ratio measures how much stays within the household economy. That's a very concrete, data-driven mechanism. And it's clear this isn't just theory for Kishor. He has a track record of implementing these kinds of data-driven approaches in political campaigns, doesn't he?
He does. His 2015 Bihar campaign for Nitish Kumar used incredibly granular, data-driven strategies. They conducted extensive village surveys to identify and address specific local issues like drainage problems or lack of specific amenities. It demonstrated on...
What's truly fascinating here is the combination, isn't it? This ground-level, deep understanding from his Padayatra combined with a strategic, data-driven, and high-tech approach to governance. It's a blend of old-school grassroots activism and cutting-edge strategy.
Indeed. It signals a recognition that deep-seated problems require both fundamental reforms rooted in local understanding and modern tools for efficient implementation and outreach. And speaking of fundamental reforms, let's transition to a crucial pillar that underpins everything else: land reform. This is truly envisioned as a foundational shift for growth in Bihar.
Okay, land reform. Let's talk about the land in Bihar. Our sources point to a very stark reality. Entrenched land inequality acting as a major economic bottleneck. Yeah. What exactly does this look like on the ground? How does it hold the state back?
Well, the data paints a clear and troubling picture. Land ownership in Bihar remains highly skewed. Upper castes, who make up roughly 15% of the population, control around 78% of the land.
78% for 15% of the people. Wow.
Yes. In contrast, scheduled castes, despite their significant population, own far less than their proportional share. And what's more, over 1/3 of cultivable land operates under a sharecropping system known as batidari.
Batidari. Can you explain that a bit more?
Imagine a tenant farmer working tirelessly on land they don't own, only to be legally obligated to hand over a massive percentage of their harvest, often half or more, as rent. This system often traps them in cycles of debt and exploitation, leaving little incentive or capital to invest in improving the land or breaking free from poverty. It's not just about who owns what, it's about how this archaic structure fundamentally impedes progress and perpetuates inequality.
And it goes beyond just ownership or sharecropping, right? The sources highlight small and marginal holdings dominating. Average holdings around 2 to 3 acres per household. Average plot sizes as small as 0.39 hectares.
Tiny plots. And this fragmentation, combined with unclear or unregistered land titles, prevents millions of families from using land as collateral for credit.
Ah, so that's the crux. It's not just a moral issue of inequality, it's a massive economic bottleneck. It chokes the state's growth and exacerbates poverty.
Precisely. This lack of clear, actionable title means that even if a family has some land, they can't leverage it. They can't access bank loans to invest in their farms, start small businesses, improve their lives. This ultimately chokes growth and exacerbates poverty, contributing directly to those high migration rates we discussed.
Okay, so this systemic issue leads directly to what the plan calls the logic of productive redistribution. Land reform that is specifically designed to pay for itself, generating new wealth, not just reslicing the existing pie.
Exactly. Land reform that pays for itself sounds almost too good to be true, especially in a context where land reform can often be so contentious.
So how does that work in practice? How can giving away land pay for itself?
Well, the core idea is that even a small plot, say zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 acres, or 5 to 10 decimals when granted full, clear, and undisputed title, can serve as collateral. This seemingly minor legal change is a massive economic unlock.
Okay, so the title is the key.
The title is everything. This allows previously unbankable families to access microcredit for small businesses, farm diversification, think poultry farming, or setting up solar water pumps for irrigation, and various green growth initiatives. It transforms a dormant, unproductive asset into a dynamic, productive one, injecting capital where it's desperately needed.
So it's empowering individual households to become micro-entrepreneurs rather than just waiting for big industrial projects. And this creates what the sources call the Bihar multiplier effect. Can you paint a clearer picture? What does this truly mean on the ground for a family?
Absolutely. Imagine a farmer, maybe tracked for generations in that Battadari cycle, unable to get a loan because their land title is murky or non-existent. Now, with a clear title to even a small plot, 5 or 10 decimals, they can leverage it. This isn't just theory. It means they might finally buy a solar-powered pump, maybe diversify into high-value poultry or fish farming, or perhaps send a child to a vocational training program.
Real, tangible changes for that family.
Right. And this micro-investment, when replicated across millions of households, becomes a torrent of local spending. It creates demand for local goods and services, supporting local shops, artisans. It transforms that dormant asset into a local economic engine. It's not just about raising income, it's about dignity, resilience, and fundamentally keeping people from having to leave. This localized activity generates a powerful ripple effect, a multiplier, across villages.
What about the existing large landholders? Wouldn't they resist? Fear losing assets. How does this plan benefit them, making it a win-win?
That's a crucial point, the win-win aspect. The sources argue that a vibrant rural economy, fueled by this grassroots redistribution and increased spending power, actually raises land values across the board.
So everyone's land becomes more valuable.
Potentially, yes. Redistributing small plots stimulates local markets, increases demand for agricultural products, creates pressure for better local infrastructure. This means original landowners don't necessarily lose out on their remaining land. In fact, the value of their holdings could increase due to overall prosperity, and they gain social license, stability, by contributing to this rising tide lifting all boats.
That's a really interesting angle. Shifting from zero-sum to shared prosperity. And there's also this proposal for equity stakes in industrial development, moving beyond conflict-prone land acquisition for SEZs.
Yes, exactly. Instead of the traditional, often contentious process of government-led land acquisition for special economic zones or agro-industrial corridors, which frequently leads to protests, delays, legal battles, the proposal suggests a cooperative model.
How would that work?
Landowners could contribute their land in exchange for equity stakes in the new ventures built upon it. This transforms their passive land wealth into active participation in Bihar's industrial future. It aligns their interests with development goals and significantly reduces resistance. Imagine a new food processing plant in Muzaffarpur, processing local lychees, partly owned by the very farmers whose land made it possible.
That creates a powerful vested interest in success for everyone involved. A real partnership model.
Precisely. A partnership, not a conflict.
Okay, so this isn't just a theoretical concept. The sources outline a concrete program, the Bihari Agrarian Upliftment and Enterprise Scheme, or BAUEs. Can you walk us through the phases of this proposed program, from identifying who needs land to seeing the impact?
Certainly. BAUES is structured in 5 meticulous phases. Phase 1. Identify and digitize. This foundational step involves conducting a special, highly accurate survey using advanced geospatial tools like Bhusurvekshan and Bhunaksha, digital mapping, aiming to resolve existing land disputes according to new, streamlined December 2024 guidelines, and crucially, creating a consolidated, transparent registry of landless and near-landless families using digital helplines and common service points across the state. Transparency is key.
So, modern tech to map the problem accurately. What comes next? The actual allocation.
Phase 2. Homestead parcel allocation. This is where the direct impact happens. It proposes allocating 5-10 decimals, roughly 2,000 to 4,000 square feet of state or surplus ceiling land per eligible family. Critically, these families would get full, undisputed titles and mutation records, legal security, economic leverage. Additionally, it aims to proactively register tenants and sharecroppers into legal tenancy lists, similar to West Bengal's Operation Barga, granting them clear cultivation rights, formal crop share agreements protecting them from exploitation.
Securing rights for sharecroppers, too, not just giving land to the landless. That's important.
Yeah.
And once they have the land and the title, how do they make it productive? They need the means, right? Credit and skills.
Correct. Phase 3, credit and capacity building. The plan is to partner strategically with NABARD, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, and microfinance institutions to offer small, accessible loans explicitly backed by that newly acquired homestead plot, vital for investment. Simultaneously, providing targeted skills training in agri-enterprises, digital skills, microservices with support hubs established at the block level. So, capital and know-how.
Makes sense. And for the larger landholders, those who might be hesitant, are there specific incentives in BAUES to encourage cooperation?
Yes. Phase 4. Incentives for landholders. This phase is thoughtfully designed for cooperation, not confrontation. Large landowners would be offered tangible benefits: tax rebates, rights to partake in cooperative ventures, priority processing under land use schemes if they actively support participatory reform. The plan also mentions implementing phase ceilings on landholdings with fair compensation, or offering land pooling business zones near growth corridors like Bita, turning potential adversaries into partners.
So carrots rather than just sticks. And finally, how do they ensure this ambitious program actually works? Accountability. Monitoring.
Phase 5. Monitoring and impact evaluation. Critical for accountability, transparency, and continuous improvement. Using land services helplines, digital survey party-reviewed mutation records, mobile apps to track allocations and credit use in real time. Plus, regular independent audits commissioned to assess key indicators: rural incomes, loan repayment rates, overall farmland values. This data-driven monitoring ensures reforms are effective, identifies bottlenecks, allows adjustments, keeps it on track.
It's clear this BAUES program is deeply rooted in lessons from history and global examples. What specific precedents, both from India and abroad, inspire this plan and lend it credibility?
Several powerful examples inform this strategy. Domestically, Operation Barga in West Bengal from 1978 to 1985 is key. It successfully registered sharecroppers' rights, leading to demonstrably higher agricultural yields, reduced rural poverty, and increased bank credit for tenants. All achieved without dismantling landowners' holdings or causing widespread conflict, a model for inclusive, non-confrontational reform.
And Bihar itself has a legacy of land reform, doesn't it? Even if some attempts stalled.
It absolutely does. Bihar's own heritage includes the zamindari abolition in 1950. Post-independence reforms under Sri Krishna Sinha abolished intermediaries, securing rights for many farmers. Even though later efforts to redistribute surplus land faced political hurdles, so the capacity is there historically. More recently, in 2022, Bihar launched a mobile app-enabled scheme granting 5 decimals of homestead land to SC/ST/OBC landless families, a clear recent step in the right direction.
Okay, those are local examples. What about global inspirations? Proof this can work on a national scale.
Globally, Vietnam's 1993 land reforms are often cited, a powerful success story. They fundamentally transformed agriculture by giving clear, secure titles to 7 million farmers, directly contributing to a remarkable 40% increase in agricultural output. Shows the leverage of secure tenure. Similarly, Rwanda's land registry more recently digitized 11 million land parcels. This dramatically boosted agricultural investment by 30% and reduced land disputes, highlighting how digital tech helps.
These examples are compelling, which raises the question, if these models exist, both domestic and international, and have proven successful, why haven't they been fully implemented across Bihar before now? What are the underlying barriers this new blueprint specifically aims to overcome?
That's a crucial question. The sources imply historical barriers were multifaceted: lack of sustained political will, deeply entrenched bureaucratic resistance, powerful societal structures benefiting from the status quo. These have hindered full-scale implementation. The current proposals acknowledge these challenges and aim to overcome them through a combination of strategic incentives for all stakeholders, robust digital governance to bypass traditional bottlenecks, and strong political leadership committed to seeing it through.
And this ties in directly with the next pillar, right? How digital leapfrogging can help cut through some of these very barriers and accelerate development.
Precisely. Let's talk digital leapfrogging.
Okay, digital leapfrogging. The skip the landline strategy. It sounds incredibly ambitious, almost like skipping generations of development. The core enabler is universal free 5G access. How do they envision implementing this? And why 5G specifically?
The vision is exactly that. bypass outdated infrastructure, like many nations skip landlines for mobiles, but on a grander scale. Directly adopting cutting-edge 5G to leapfrog developmental barriers. Implementation involves deep partnerships with telecom giants Reliance Jio, Airtel, BSNL to aggressively roll out 5G across 80% of Bihar by 2028. With crucial prioritization of rural areas, ensuring connectivity reaches where it's needed most.
80% coverage by 2028 is fast, and the free aspect, how's that feasible? Financially sustainable.
The plan suggests subsidizing access using state funds, potentially drawing from that estimated 20,000 crore annually 2.4 billion USD from lifting the liquor ban, as Kishor proposed, a dedicated fund for digital infrastructure. The idea is free 5G via public Wi-Fi hotspots and heavily subsidized 5G-enabled smartphones, making access truly universal like Rwanda's subsidized internet model.
So public access points and cheaper phones. But access isn't enough without skills, is it?
Absolutely not. Beyond just access, there's a strong emphasis on digital literacy. A statewide campaign, modeled on India's PMGD Aisha scheme, would train a massive 50 million Biharis in basic digital skills within 5 years, focusing specifically on rural youth, women, and seniors, ensuring no one is left behind. The impact is profound. Reduces the digital divide, treats 5G like critical public infrastructure, enables digital jobs, remote education, e-governance at scale.
But why 5G specifically? Why not just robust 4G? What makes 5G so pivotal to the whole strategy?
That's a crucial distinction. Beyond just being new, 5G offers ultra-low latency, almost no delay, and massive connectivity, millions of devices connecting simultaneously. These capabilities are crucial for the plan's most ambitious parts. Think real-time AI tutoring platforms that feel interactive, high-quality remote medical consultations, transmitting high-res diagnostic images, precision agriculture using drones and sensors in real time. These demand network performance that 4G struggles with at scale. 5G is the foundational, future-proof digital backbone.
Okay, that makes sense. It enables the really transformative applications. Let's move to how this infrastructure revolutionizes specific sectors. First, education. With the Silicon Ganga tutoring platform. This sounds bold, outward-looking, tapping into Bihar's human capital.
It is. The vision is for Bihar to leverage its historical legacy as an educational hub, think ancient Nalanda, and become a Silicon Ganga, where 1 million well-educated Bihari youth tutor primary school students globally via a sophisticated digital platform.
1 million tutors. Exporting education services. How would that work practically?
Implementation involves establishing a Patna-based edtech startup, funded by state venture capital, maybe using Kishor's redirected bank credit, and attracting Silicon Valley investors. This platform uses AI-driven matching to connect Bihari tutors with students in high-demand markets, US, UK, Singapore, etc., offering affordable, high-quality tutoring in English, math, science.
1 million tutors is a huge workforce, especially given potential challenges with English fluency for some. How would they train so many people to international standards?
The plan addresses this pragmatically. An intensive, large-scale program to train 1 million youth in pedagogy, English fluency acknowledging only about 10% currently speak fluent English, and digital tools for online instruction. Through partnerships with universities, online platforms, vocational centers, the impact, potentially transformative. 1 million tutors earning, say, $500 a month could collectively generate $6 billion annually.
$6 billion a year, just from tutoring.
That's the projection, potentially increasing Bihar's per capita income by 10–15% directly from this knowledge export. Plus, tutors gain skills, local students also benefit. India's own edtech sector, BYJU's, Unacademy, and Rwanda's digital literacy programs for IT jobs are powerful precedents.
Okay, so education becomes an export industry. What about healthcare? Telemedicine and global wellness platforms leveraging local cultural assets.
This vision is two-pronged. First, training and deploying 100,000 yoga teachers from Bihar, offering global lessons via a Silicon Ganga wellness platform, leveraging Bihar's cultural heritage and the booming global wellness industry. A Patna startup develops a 5G-enabled platform for live and recorded yoga meditation, training 100,000 instructors through state programs, targeting rural women and youth, marketing to the $80 billion global wellness market.
So exporting wellness expertise and for local healthcare, which is critical for Bihar's own population. How does 5G help there?
For local healthcare, 5G enables high-quality, seamless telemedicine consultations, connecting rural Biharis to specialist doctors in Patna, Delhi, even global hubs. Through partnerships with major hospitals like Apollo, AIIMS, a patient in a remote village gets diagnosed by a top cardiologist miles away.
That could be life-changing. What's the expected impact on health outcomes and jobs?
Significant. 100,000 yoga instructors earning $300 a month could generate $360 million annually. Telemedicine staff add another 50,000 jobs. Crucially, it could dramatically reduce infant mortality, currently 40 per 1,000 in Bihar, and improve maternal health for 80% of rural women through timely, expert advice. Bangladesh's telemedicine for rural women and India's e-Sanjeevani platform are strong precedents here.
Okay, this is truly comprehensive human capital, social services. Let's move to something even more ambitious. A 100% cashless economy. This sounds like a direct assault on corruption, which has been a major impediment historically.
That's precisely the vision, leveraging universal 5G for seamless digital payments to fundamentally eliminate corruption at its roots. Implementation involves rapid, widespread adoption of UPI, PhonePe, PhonePe across every corner of Bihar, free 5G-enabled point-of-sale devices for small businesses, even street vendors, making digital payments ubiquitous. Critically, opening 20 million new bank accounts for rural Biharis linked to Aadhaar and 5G-enabled mobile banking. Financial inclusion is key.
And government services, too.
Yes. All government services, land registration, welfare payments digitized via 5G platforms. Building on Bihar's success with the 2011 Right to Public Services Act, which already processed 17 million applications digitally.
So the impact is transparency, efficiency, but also plugging those financial leaks from corruption.
Absolutely. Aims to eliminate petty bribery, potentially saving Bihar $1–2 billion annually. Increases tax compliance significantly. Remember, Bihar's tax revenue grew from $800 million in 2006 to $3.06 billion in 2013 just through initial e-governance. This amplifies that. Plus, it creates 100,000 new jobs in fintech and cybersecurity. Rwanda's Arembo platform cutting corruption by 30% is a powerful precedent.
And all these digital initiatives culminate in the vision of Patna as a Silicon Ganga tech hub. It's fascinating how a state often viewed through the lens of poverty could aim to become a global leader in high-tech education and innovation. It truly challenges narratives.
It absolutely does. The vision is Patna as a vibrant, world-class tech hub, hosting startups for tutoring, yoga, agri-tech, other digital services, all supported by ubiquitous 5G and global partnerships. Involves creating a Kigali-style innovation city in Patna, 5G-enabled co-working spaces, incubators, accelerators, attracting $500 million in venture capital from Silicon Valley and Indian investors, offering tax breaks, low-interest loans, using that redirected bank credit to Bihari entrepreneurs.
And skilling the local workforce for these tech jobs.
Massive focus there, training 500,000 youth in coding, AI, app development through 5G-enabled online courses and new vocational institutes.
500,000 tech-skilled youth. That would create a huge ripple effect, building an entire new economic sector.
Indeed. The impact is projected as 200,000 high-value tech jobs in Patna within a decade, contributing an estimated $5 billion to Bihar's GSDP by 2035. Growth mirroring Bangalore's IT hub, 1.5 million employed, Rwanda's Kigali Innovation City, aiming for 50,000 tech jobs, and Bangalore are clear inspirations. Okay, let's unpack this. It sounds incredibly ambitious, almost like skipping generations of development. How do these digital visions connect to the physical economy of Bihar, particularly its industrial and agricultural sectors? The digital can't exist in a vacuum.
Indeed. The real test is how digital transforms the tangible, physical economy. Bihar, the breadbasket of India, has incredible natural strengths in agriculture. So how do these digital ambitions translate into tangible growth and jobs within agro-based industries, which our sources highlight as critical?
The opportunity here is truly significant, often underestimated. Bihar's fertile plains, abundant water from the Ganga, favorable climate make it uniquely ideal for agro-industries. The state is already a top producer of high-value crops. 71% of India's lychee, 90% of the world's makhana, foxnut.
90% of the world's makhana. That's a huge differentiator, a unique asset.
It really is. Plus, a leading producer of banana, mango, potato, onion, cauliflower, sugarcane, jute. The list goes on.
So how do agro-based industries leverage these strengths, move beyond just raw commodity production?
By strategically converting raw agricultural output into higher value processed products, this tackles several critical issues simultaneously. Reduces rural-urban migration by creating local jobs, boosts farmer incomes through value addition, direct market access, drives inclusive growth. Existing policies like the 2016 Industrial Investment Promotion Policy and the 2017-22 Agricultural Roadmap already recognize this, but the new plan aims for accelerated implementation.
So moving beyond just growing to processing and selling higher value goods, what are the most promising specific sectors Bihar plans to prioritize? What are their unique opportunities?
Several stand out. Food processing is paramount, leveraging that diverse produce. Focus on lychee pulp, makhana snacks, vegetable dehydration, even baby food. Huge potential for mega food parks, integrated cold chains, export-oriented units targeting EU, Middle East, Southeast Asia.
And that 90% world share in makhana, how can they really capitalize on that unique selling proposition?
Makhana processing is a goldmine. The plan involves transforming the traditional labor-intensive puffing process with modern tech, developing ready-to-eat snacks, energy bars, makhana flour, promoting farmer-producer organization, FPO-based procurement, securing geographical indication, GI tagging for Bihar's makhana, establishing dedicated export hubs to East Asia, Gulf countries, moving it from niche to global superfood.
Makes sense. And traditional industries like sugar. Bihar has a history there. Can that be revitalized?
The sugar and ethanol industry is indeed a legacy sector ripe for revival. Plans suggest reactivating defunct mills, enhancing the 11 operational ones through public-private partnerships. This aligns perfectly with India's biofuel policy, 20% ethanol blending by 2025, creates powerful, consistent demand, plus strategically utilizing byproducts. Bagasse for electricity, molasses for alcohol, maximizing value.
Dairy is another big one for India, right? Huge population.
Indeed. Dairy and allied industries can build significantly on Bihar's 11.3 million tons milk production, 2022-23, and successful cooperatives like COMF-Fed, sue the brand, opportunities in flavored milk, cheese, organic ghee, direct-to-consumer delivery chains, potential to involve over 300,000 women in cooperatives, huge for grassroots empowerment, and an emerging sector. Tea cultivation and processing in Kishanganj district, 25,000 plus acres. Focus on premium organic, green tea, agrotourism, cross-border exports.
What about textiles? Bihar's historical connection, especially silk.
Yes, the silk and handloom industry, particularly Bhagalpur's renowned Tusar silk heritage, could be revitalized. Aims for modernization, skill hubs, integration with e-commerce like Amazon Karigar, targeting high-end garments, international brands. Similarly, jute-based industries leverage Bihar as India's third-largest jute producer. Vision is jute parks promoting eco-friendly bags, mats, geotextiles for export and government procurement. Lastly, bamboo-based enterprises offer new opportunities. Agarbati, paper, furniture, eco-construction, especially since bamboo is reclassified as grass, simplifying things under the National Bamboo Mission.
These are all promising, very specific sectors. But what are the persistent challenges Bihar needs to overcome? And how does the plan address them?
The sources identify several significant hurdles. First, supply chain gaps are major, leading to alarming 30–40% post-harvest loss. Inadequate storage, transport. Second, reliance on traditional farming practices often means lower productivity. Third, a chronic capital crunch deters SMEs and large investment. Fourth, climate vulnerability poses risks. And finally, marketing barriers often prevent Bihar's unique products from reaching wider, higher-value markets.
So storage, tech, finance, climate, marketing. A lot to tackle.
Yes, and the plan's comprehensive approach, especially the emphasis on cold chains and digital market access via 5G, directly aims to mitigate these bottlenecks.
Okay, that brings us to revolutionizing job creation through something like refrigerated agricultural supply chains. That sounds fascinating. Agriculture meets logistics. How does that create massive jobs?
It's a true game changer. Transforms how Bihar's produce gets to market. The vision. Refrigerated trains transport high-value fruits, vegetables, flowers directly from Bihar's farms to ports like Kolkata for a rapid export to lucrative global markets, Singapore, Dubai, etc., aims to boost agricultural income tenfold for millions.
Tenfold? That's incredible. How do they implement that?
A substantial investment. $1 billion through redirected bank credit and PPPs in refrigerated trains and cold storage units. Partnering with Indian Railways, private logistics firms, also promoting high-yield, high-value crops using 5G-enabled drones for precision farming, soil sensors, mobile apps for real-time market data, ensuring farmers grow what sells best globally.
So it's about targeting markets where vegetables fetch 2 5 per kilo versus maybe 2 nuts of 4 fats for rice in India. Massive value jump, keeping the value add local. What's the expected impact on jobs and farmer income?
Projected impact is transformative. Shifting just 20% of Bihar's farmland to these high-value crops could increase agricultural income from $10 billion to a staggering $50–100 billion annually, raising per capita income 5–10 times for up to 10 million farmers directly involved. Furthermore, creates 500,000 new jobs in cold chain logistics, food processing, export management. Odisha's horticulture export growth, 20% annually after cold chain investments, is cited as a precedent.
500,000 jobs just in the supply chain and processing for those high-value crops. Okay. Beyond agriculture, the plan looks at Bihar becoming a hub for labor-intensive industries like textiles and electronics. Why these sectors? Why are they important for Bihar's demographic?
critical because they require low to medium skills, offer quick, massive employment absorption, and kickstart broader industrial ecosystems. With 58% of its population under 25 and among India's lowest wages, Bihar has a massive, young, trainable workforce. Unparalleled cost competitiveness, plus untapped raw materials like Bhagalpuri silk, strategic proximity to huge eastern North Indian consumer markets for electronics, and potential to leverage central PLI schemes.
But if Bihar has these strengths, why hasn't it become a manufacturing hub already? What are the big challenges to overcome? How does the blueprint address them?
The challenges are significant, historically deterring investment. First, infrastructure gaps. Unreliable power, underdeveloped logistics, roads, rail to ports, air cargo, scarce industrial land. Second, persistent perception of poor governance. Concerns about corruption, red tape, law and order discourage big investments. Third, chronic skilling mismatch. Lack of industry-aligned training, too few technical institutes for modern manufacturing needs. And finally, a lack of anchor industries. No industrial magnates like Samsung in Noida or Foxconn in Tamil Nadu means no critical mass to attract suppliers and supporting businesses.
Okay, infrastructure, governance perception, skills, anchor tenants. A lot to fix. It's the detailed roadmap for success. Sounds like a complete structural overhaul.
It absolutely is. The roadmap is multifaceted. First, creating special industrial zones that are fully serviced from day one, identifying strategic locations, developing them with dedicated power, water, fiber optic connectivity, even integrated worker housing, plug-and-play environments, modeled after Sri City in Andhra, Dallara in Gujarat.
So ready-made industrial parks. What about the workforce?
Second, developing highly specialized skill clusters. Direct partnerships with major companies, Samsung, TCS, Dixon, textile exporters to co-create curriculum, establish state-of-the-art training facilities, ensuring graduates have immediately employable skills. Third, offering smart incentives. A competitive state-level PLI scheme, 100% GST reimbursement for 5 years, capital subsidies, interest subvention, and critically dedicated single-window clearance guaranteeing fast approvals.
Okay, parks, skills, incentives. What about changing Bihar's image?
Crucially, fourth pillar, brand Bihar differently. A concerted, proactive effort promoting Bihar globally as a frontier for affordable, scalable manufacturing, akin to how Vietnam positioned itself, highlighting the demographic dividend, cost competitiveness, new governance. And finally, leverage diaspora networks. Mobilizing Bihar's large, influential diaspora to invest back home, bringing capital expertise, global connections.
Drawing inspiration from Bangladesh's garment boom, Noida's electronics cluster, Tamil Nadu's textile belt. These are powerful examples. Here's where it gets really interesting. How can Bihar attract such massive investment and fundamentally reform its governance to support these audacious plans? This truly sounds like a total overhaul of the state's operating system.
It is indeed a total overhaul, and governance is absolutely foundational. Without tackling systemic corruption, ensuring a stable, predictable business environment, none of this sticks. This is where the blueprint proposes radical shifts.
So let's start with anti-corruption and transparency, a historical issue. What's the objective? What concrete actions are proposed?
Objective: eliminate corruption in public services, ensure 100% transparency in expenditures. Clear goal. Proposed actions are highly digitized, systemic. Implement a GM-like digital procurement platform for all state contracts, real-time expenditure tracking visible to the public. Mirrors India's successful Central GEM platform. Introduce AI-based exam systems for BPSC to prevent leaks, ensure merit-based selection. Launch a Bihar Ke Bolo platform for real-time complaint resolution modeled on West Bengal's DDK Bolo, direct citizen feedback loop.
So leveraging digital for finance and feedback, what's the expected impact on reputation, economy?
Substantial. Improving Bihar's corruption perception index ranking by 50%. More importantly, dramatically increasing public trust. The proposed 100% cashless economy we discussed directly contributes, cutting petty bribery, illicit transactions. Think of the daily savings for ordinary citizens, small businesses. Rwanda's Irembo platform, cutting bureaucratic corruption by 30%, shows the power of digital overhaul.
And hand in hand with anti-corruption is law and order, historically a major concern for investors. What's the comprehensive plan for safety and stability?
Objective: reduce crime rates by 30%, ensure a secure, predictable business environment that attracts and retains investment. Actions involve modernizing police, equipping 500 stations with CCTV, drones, cybercrime units. Establish 50 fast-track courts for economic crimes, aiming for convictions within 6 months. Takes a leaf from Rwanda's judicial efficiency focus. Additionally, train 10,000 youth as community officers to bridge police-public gaps, foster better local relationships, intelligence sharing. builds deterrence and trust.
Comprehensive approach enforcement, judicial efficiency, community policing. Okay.
Okay.
And finally, to truly attract that trillion-dollar investment, Rio needs a genuinely business-friendly environment. What's in the blueprint for transforming its ease of doing business ranking?
Objective is audacious. Attract 1 lakh crore, about $12 billion USD in FDI and private investment by 2030. And crucially, reach the global top 50 in ease of doing business rankings. Actions designed to cut red tape, create a seamless environment. Implement a digital single-window clearance platform guaranteeing business approvals within 15 days. Streamlining over 100 approvals. Modeled on Telangana's TSI Pass. Offer attractive 5-year tax holidays for agro-based IT industries. Even longer 10-year holidays for SEZs in key centers like Patna, Gaya, Muzaffarpur.
Tax breaks, fast clearances are powerful. What about the physical infrastructure for businesses?
Plan includes developing 5 fully equipped industrial parks specifically for food processing, textiles, ensuring 100% reliable power, water from day one, projected impact, 5,500,000 jobs directly from these initiatives, boosting GSDP by 20%, aiming for a monumental leap from 21st in India's Business Reform Action Plan 2020 to global top 50 EODB, attracting $300 billion investment long-term. Singapore's top ranking, Gujarat's FDI surge are precedents. So what does this all mean for Bihar's overall economic future? These governance reforms are designed to unlock everything else.
Indeed. It all funnels into these audacious economic projections. Let's look at the numbers. The scale is just mind-boggling.
It really is.
Current GSDP, 8.6 lakh crore,
Yep.
about $80 billion USD, growing at 10.6%. Per capita income, maybe $700 recently. So what's the target? How big does Bihar aim to become?
Monumental. Achieve an average of 15% annual growth by 2030. Doubling current GSDP to 17 lakh crore, roughly $200 billion. The ultimate, grand vision. An astonishing $1 trillion economy by 2040, requiring sustained 20% annual growth. If successful, pushes per capita income up to $8,000, fundamentally transforming lives.
$8,000 per capita from 700. That's a staggering jump, putting it on par with many developed nations today. What are the primary drivers of this projected growth across sectors?
Strategically diversified economy, agriculture's contribution to GSDP targeted to increase to 30%, high-value crops, processing, services, especially knowledge-based, projected at 40%. Industry, including new manufacturing, targeted at 20%. Key external contributors, exports, $3.5 billion target for initial 5-year plan. Foreign direct investment, 1 lakh crore target, about $12 billion in same period. Strong focus on global integration.
And the most crucial element, jobs. Reducing migration. How many jobs envisioned? What kind?
Incredibly focused on massive job creation. Initial 5-year plan aims for 2 million jobs, with 500,000 specifically in high-tech knowledge industries like Silicon Ganga. By 2040, overall vision, an astounding 15 million jobs across sectors. 5 million SMEs, 5 million manufacturing, 3 million agriculture, 2 million services. Truly comprehensive approach, absorbing Bihar's massive youth demographic, aiming to eliminate involuntary migration.
15 million jobs. Wow. And beyond economics, what are the projected social outcomes? It's not just GDP, right? Human development.
Absolutely. Social outcomes equally ambitious, address current challenges directly. Reduce childhood stunting, malnutrition indicator, from 42% to 20% by 2031 through free school lunches, statewide community kitchens, long hours. Literacy rates targeted to increase significantly from 70.9% to 90%. Corruption cut by 50% through cashless systems, digital governance, direct improvements in quality of life.
So given these truly audacious projections, $700 to $8,000 per capita income, poorest state to trillion-dollar economy, what about feasibility, realism? How do they propose to fund it, especially with Bihar's existing fiscal constraints?
The funding strategy for the initial 5-year plan, 2026-2030, is designed to be realistic, multi-sourced, aligns with Bihar's existing 2.79 lakh crore, approx. $34 billion in annual budget, leverages 1.5 lakh crore, approx. $18 billion in state funds, secures 50,000 crore, approx. $6 billion from existing central schemes, PMGSY, rural roads, Ayushman Bharat, health, PM Kisan farmer income, Diller MP, land records, PM Gati Shakti, infra. Crucially, aims for another 50,000 crore from PPPs and FDI over 5 years.
And that CD ratio point, how much does that unlock?
Most importantly, Kishor's vision of raising the CD ratio to 70% is projected to unlock an additional euro 2.5 lakh crore, a staggering $30 billion in readily available bank loans.
This significantly finances infrastructure, land reform, crucial SME loans, makes local capital work for local growth.
That CD ratio really is key. Local capital for Bihar's development
Yeah.
and prioritization. Can't do everything at once. The plan wisely prioritizes high-impact sectors suited for Bihar's strengths, demographics, agriculture, IT, education, and the strong governance focus Kishor's anti-corruption emphasis. Data-driven strategies considered absolutely crucial for efficient, transparent implementation, ensuring every dollar delivers maximum impact.
And this isn't happening in a vacuum. What global and Indian models inspire this? Lend credibility. Are there real-world examples of this kind of leapfrogging?
Powerful precedents suggest this ambition isn't just theoretical. Rwanda, post-conflict, remarkable rapid growth focusing on transparency, digital governance, IREMBO, FDI-friendly policies, lifted HDI significantly, shows governance unlocks development. Vietnam achieved 7% GDP growth via agro-exports, high-value fruit veg to Asia, enabled by cooperatives, cold chains. Its 1993 land reforms, EODB reforms, drove 10% plus agri-growth, attracted $400 BM at FDI, 1990-2020. Singapore, global gold standard for ease of doing business. Streamlined regulations, tax breaks attract massive investment.
What about within India? Closer to home, states pulling off similar transformations. Specific successes Bihar can learn from.
Within India, yes. Gujarat, compelling infrastructure model, focus on EODB. Vibrant Gujarat summits attracted significant FDI, achieved 10-12% growth, 2005-15. Kerala, success in human development. 94% literacy, robust public health via sustained investment, 15% budget for education. Telangana developed Hyderabad into global IT hub, 2-hub incentives, major tech destination. Bangladesh became world's second largest garment exporter via cheap labor, export zones, microfinance empowerment. Even Chhattisgarh and Odisha, resource-rich states leverage mineral wealth, industrial policies, skill development for jobs, social outcomes, showcasing regional success stories. Diverse models provide rich lessons.
Demonstrating ambitious transformation is achievable, and the plan talks about collaboration, global positioning. How does Bihar aim to engage internationally, brand itself on the world stage?
Very outward-looking. Suggests engaging Kathmandu-based Kalkiism Research Center for AI tools, land mapping, human capital analytics, integrating holistic approaches. Highlights intent for strong collaboration with World Bank, ADB, Silicon Valley firms for funding, expertise. Branding strategy is ambitious, positioning Bihar not just as an Indian state, but a global digital and agricultural powerhouse, hosting Silicon Ganga investment summits to attract global investors, entrepreneurs directly.
This raises an important question. If this blueprint is so compelling, draws from so many successful precedents, what's the single most transformative element? The element that could truly make Bihar's vision a reality? Is it land reform, 5G, governance, or something else entirely that acts as the tipping point?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? While each pillar is undeniably crucial, deeply interconnected, the source material, particularly its emphasis on land reform that pays for itself, and even calling it a magic bullet, strongly suggests that equitable land reform, meticulously combined with digital mapping and title security, could be the single most transformative element.
So land reform is the foundation.
It seems so. It's the fundamental shift that unlocks dormant assets, provides millions with collateral, stimulates grassroots entrepreneurship from the bottom up, creates that virtuous cycle of localized growth. Upon this foundation, all the other digital, industrial, social initiatives can truly thrive. It directly addresses those deep-seated historical inequalities, transforming what was a fundamental bottleneck into an unprecedented launchpad for inclusive prosperity.
We've taken a deep dive today into an extraordinary blueprint for Bihar, charting its course from current struggles to a bold future as a potential $1 trillion economy by 2040. We've explored how strategic, digitally enabled land reform, universal 5G as a foundational layer, targeted industrial and agricultural growth, all underpinned by an unwavering commitment to good governance, could revolutionize the state.
And this isn't just about abstract economic numbers, is it? It's about restoring dignity, creating widespread opportunity, lifting millions out of generational poverty. It's about transforming Bihar into a global hub for knowledge work, wellness, high-value agriculture, fundamentally shifting its narrative. The proposed integration of cutting-edge tech like 5G, blockchain, with fundamental, often contentious reforms like land redistribution creates a truly unique, compelling narrative, potentially a replicable model for accelerated development elsewhere.
So for you listening, considering how intricately intertwined land technology and human capital are in this audacious plan for Bihar, what historical example or even a futuristic concept do you think best illustrates the power of combining these seemingly disparate elements for truly transformative growth? And what could a future Silicon Ganga mean, not just for Bihar and India, but for the rest of the world as a model for leapfrog development?